One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent.
He would do a lot of foul shit, like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit, like.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
Put me on that when you say, yeah, he looked like the gay homie. I didn't know what you were talking about.
Stop. Then he was like, yo, so when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like we can just hang out. We gotta kick it.
This is
Puff.
Okay.
He telling me we gotta kick it. Then he was like, yo, why don't we like go shopping? I mean, like I pay for it. And I was like, this
Right?
Yeah.
I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
You did?
So I'm just not with all that freaky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy.
Day 3 of the explosive federal trial against music mogul Cent Diddy Combs has delivered a chilling turning point, and the courtroom has never been more tense. At the center of the storm is Cassie Ventura, a former singer, dancer, and model who rose to fame in the early 2000s under Diddy's Bad Boy Records label. But her testimony has now revealed a much darker story behind the glitz and glamour. In a powerful, emotional, and detailed statement, Cassie took the stand and peeled back the curtain on more than a decade of what she describes as physical abuse, emotional torment, and sexual exploitation by one of the most influential men in the entertainment world. Cassie's testimony didn't just tell a story, it painted a harrowing picture of control, manipulation, and deep trauma. The courtroom, filled with journalists, legal teams, and a silent gallery of observers, fell utterly still as she began her account. Cassie, now 8 months pregnant, spoke with a quiet but firm tone. Her composure throughout nearly 3 hours of testimony showed the strength of someone who had waited a long time to be heard.
Announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he won't you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
What truly sent shockwaves through the courtroom, and beyond, was a previously unreleased surveillance video from 2016. This footage, now circulating widely across media outlets, shows a violent and undeniable physical attack. The video, captured by hotel security in Los Angeles, shows Diddy chasing Cassie down a hallway, grabbing her by the hair, throwing her to the ground, and kicking her repeatedly. He then drags her limp body back toward a hotel room, seemingly indifferent to her pain, or to the possibility of being caught on camera. The video isn't just damning, it's devastating. For many, it validated Cassie's long-standing claims and served as a visual representation of the abuse she says she endured for over a decade. But as haunting as the video is, it's only a fragment of a much larger, far more disturbing narrative. To understand how we got here, we need to go back to the beginning. Cassie Ventura met Diddy in 2006. She was just 19 years old, an up-and-coming artist from Connecticut whose Single Me You had begun to climb the charts. Diddy, then in his mid-30s, was already a towering figure in music, fashion, and business. He signed Cassie to his label, and their professional relationship quickly turned romantic. Behind the smiles and red carpet appearances, Cassie now says she was drawn into a world that was far from glamorous, a world that became increasingly dangerous, isolating, and abusive. Cassie described the early stages of their relationship as intoxicating. Diddy was charming, powerful, and persuasive, but soon, that charm gave way to control. She testified that he began dictating her wardrobe, her hair, her friends, and even her speaking habits. It started with small things, she explained. How I dressed, who I talked to. Then it turned into what I could say. And eventually, it became where I could go, what I could eat, even how I smiled. She was monitored constantly. Her phone was tracked. Security followed her everywhere. According to her, she felt like a possession, not a partner. One of the most disturbing parts of Cassie's testimony revolved around what she called the freak-offs, a term that, until now.
She walked in there, Rachel, she had on a brown dress, form-fitting, visibly pregnant, head held high, and did not make any eye contact with the defendant, with Sean Combs. She said that Sean Combs directed everything from what she had on to the lighting in the room to how she was supposed to interact with the person that she was having sex with. And again, just to reiterate what is a freak off, the freak off essentially was something that Cassie said she learned about through Sean Combs about a year into their relationship. He described it as voyeurism, wanting to watch her have sex with someone else. And she said that she did it because she was 22, 21, she was young, she didn't know any better, and that she wanted to please Sean Combs.
Among other things, the singer is expected to address the 2016 video of Combs attacking her in a hotel when she was his girlfriend. Combs has pleaded not guilty. His attorneys argue the video is evidence of jealousy, not sex trafficking. And now for the first time, jurors are hearing what Cassie has to say about that and other aspects of their 10-year relationship.
Had only circulated in whispers within industry circles. These were alleged sex parties organized by Diddy in various luxury hotels and private residences. But these weren't wild celebrity parties. According to Cassie, they were orchestrated sessions of sexual degradation and control. Diddy, she said, would bring in sex workers, provide large quantities of drugs, and sometimes film the encounters. She was forced to participate, sometimes against her will, other times coerced by threats or psychological manipulation. Cassie testified that these events could last from 36 to 96 hours, entire weekends of forced performance. They took place in cities like New York, Miami, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas, often in top-tier hotels or private compounds. According to her, the freak-offs were never about fun or pleasure. They were about domination. I wasn't a participant, she said. I was a prop, a puppet, and if I resisted, I was punished. She alleged that refusing to comply led to physical violence, threats, or emotional abuse. The detail that brought many in the courtroom to the brink of tears was her explanation of why she went along with it. It was the only time he paid attention to me, she admitted. During those freak-offs, I was finally with him. I hated it, but I hated being invisible more. This tragic paradox, seeking love in the middle of abuse, underscored just how deep the emotional manipulation ran. Drugs, Cassie testified, played a massive role in these events. She described being forced to take ecstasy, mushrooms, ketamine, Special K, and GHB, commonly known as the date rape drug. These weren't optional, she claimed. They were given to her by Diddy's staff or Diddy himself to keep her compliant and disoriented. One of the most horrific incidents she recounted occurred in 2010, when, during one of these events, she was allegedly urinated on by Diddy and another woman while semi-conscious from drugs. I laid there, helpless, humiliated, trying to disappear in my own body, she said. The courtroom was silent as she recounted the moment, a sharp contrast to the glamorous public image she once projected. But the abuse wasn't limited to the bedroom. Cassie described a pattern of physical violence that spanned years. She claimed she was punched, slapped, kicked, and even choked until she passed out. She recalled waking up with black eyes, bruises, and dislocated joints. In one instance, she said she was dragged by her hair through a hotel suite in front of staff. On another occasion, she woke up in a room covered in blood, baby oil, and bodily fluids, with no recollection of how she got there. I learned to clean myself up before anyone could see me, she said. That became part of my routine. Cassie's testimony was supported by a barrage of evidence, emails, texts, photos, and medical records. In one email from 2010, Cassie pleads with Diddy not to hurt her again, reminding him that she had done everything he asked. The response, the prosecution claims, was a cold threat. Diddy allegedly reminded her that he had compromising videos and that he wasn't afraid to use them. He kept everything, she said, and he let me know. If I ever talked, if I ever left, he would destroy me. Support has flooded in for Cassie from across the country. Outside the courthouse, women's rights activists and survivors of abuse held signs, chanted messages of solidarity, and demanded accountability, not just from Diddy, but from an entire industry that often turns a blind eye to predators in power. Justice for Cassie has become a rallying cry online and in real life. The bravery she's shown, especially while heavily pregnant, has touched a nerve with thousands of people, many of whom say they've seen parts of their own stories in hers. But not everyone is convinced. Diddy's defense team has attempted to paint Cassie as an opportunist, suggesting she stayed with him for fame and financial gain. They argue that the relationship, while perhaps unhealthy, was consensual. Yet the mountain of evidence, combined with the now infamous hotel video, has made it increasingly difficult for the defense to hold that position. Public opinion is shifting rapidly, and not in Diddy's favor. What's emerging from this trial isn't just a case of celebrity scandal. It's a window into how fame and power can be weaponized to silence and control. It's a wake-up call to an industry that has protected too many powerful men for too long. Cassie Ventura has put it all on the line. She's named names, told her truth, and forced the public to confront a reality many would rather ignore. And as she walked out of the courtroom, visibly exhausted but resolute, one thing was clear: her testimony has changed the course of this trial, and possibly the music industry, forever. The legal proceedings continue, and there's still much to uncover. But one truth stands tall amid the rubble of broken NDAs, leaked footage, and courtroom drama: Cassie is no longer silent. And now, the world is listening.